Hello class, let's start lecture 35, classification. I'm your instructor, Ms. Laura Low. We are in week 13. That will be our last lecture module. We will have 3 lectures to cover. Then module 14, we will introduce 2 case studies about healthcare and education. Then module 15 will be the last project you will work on. Then week 16 will only have the final exam. So let's start our week 13. So today's lecture, we will talk about classification. Then the next lecture, we will more talk about the classifier. Then we will have the updated probabilities. Prediction. Since from the past couple weeks, we are talking about regression. Actually, at the end, we are doing the prediction. So today, we will continue to talk about prediction, but they will be a little different. As you know, the past couple weeks, we talk about the regression. We're using 2 numerical attributes. Then we predict numerical data. Today's prediction will be a little different. We will introduce the prediction involve the categorical attribute. So when we talk about prediction, right, we are guessing the value of an attribute. We base on the sample data set we have. That's our incomplete information. So when we try to make the prediction, we are trying to predict an outcome of an individual. This outcome will be the attribute we don't know. However, we use the data, finding the others that are similar to our individual. Of course, we have those data sets. We have the attribute about those individuals. And we also know the outcome they have. So we're using those incomplete information, using those outcomes as the basis about our prediction. So the prediction we talk about start from last 2 weeks. The prediction, you have 2 different types of prediction. We already talked about the regression. Like we say, we have the 2 numeric attributes. Okay, so then we try to make, we see their correlation. So then we make the regression. So then we predict a numerical data. So today's prediction will be a little different is our prediction, our outcome we try to predict is a categorical data. So this kind of prediction, we call that classification. So what is the categorical data? So the categorical data is not only about the number. They only have the outcome is a limited category. Okay, so that's why sometimes when we have the numerical data, when you do the regression, for example, we try to have using the parents' height to predict children's height. But the children's height, actually, you can have very big range, right? So, right, that's numerical data. But classification prediction will be a little different. Sometimes our category maybe just have yes or no, or we have some limited category. So that we are trying to predict from. Let's see one example about the prediction or classification prediction. So here we have a couple examples. It's just the first sentence from the email we saw. So then we just want to see they are spam or not. So remember, you see like your Gmail account or any other your email account, even your full CD, if you use Outlook, they have a spam folder, right? So that's why I try to, since we have so many features and spam email, so that's why the system try to kind of screen filter for you. So how they filter that spam or not? So usually, yeah, of course, they can have is just read through all the whole email content. But now we just see here, yeah, our prediction, we just want you to see the first sentence we have here. Then you just say that spam. or not spam. For example, the first email we have, you say you made a Wells Fargo payment. So wellsfargo.com, you recently submit a payment. Okay, so for you, you think that's spam or not? Yeah, if you don't have a right way to answer, you can pause the video, think about a little bit. Yeah, so actually this one is not a spam. It's really just a payment we did just make from the Wells Fargo. Okay, so then we see the second one. Also remember this couple example, we just show you the first sentence. So just you're using your intuition to, or your common knowledge to think about that, to tell me that's spam or not. So the other one is the business trust. I have a legal business proposal for you, worth for what? So many zero, that's 23 million. So that's spam or not? Yeah, we wish that's true, right? But that's spam. Usually you can see the large amount number, that usually is a spam. Okay, so the next one. Hi today, what a wonderful day, congrats again, I'm definitely not doing something. So this one is spam or not? Now this one actually just a crazy friend send the email. Okay, so this one is not spam in reality. But like we say, you may choose that spam or not. But yeah, sometimes that's so many exclamation mark, right? So sometimes maybe the system will tell that spam. So that's why we do the prediction, but our prediction not always accurate, right? So that's why sometimes for your Outlook or your Gmail, they do have the spam folder. But once in a while, it's better you try to check your spam because sometimes maybe they got the wrong prediction. Okay, so then this one, yeah, so this one is kind of, they just told you there's a handbag up to 84% plus free shipping. So this one actually is a kind of commercial, the ad email. You say spam or not. So that's why sometimes, right, the Gmail maybe that's put in the spam. So this is just an example we show you the categorical data prediction. So for those kind of classified prediction, actually that's we introduce our machine learning algorithm. So the machine learning, you heard about that. Yeah, a lot of time we talk about we training data. Okay, so machine learning algorithm, actually you still have a model. Okay, so that's model, most of the time that's mathematical model. Okay, according to our sample data, of course, all the time sample data. They calculated based on the sample data. Usually that's we call the training data. So why we call training data? Because a lot of time your sample data, maybe they have very big amount. They need time to train using the model we use to train the data. Then they make prediction or decision without being explicitly programmed to perform the task. So that's why here, sometimes we say our machine learning algorithm, that's a black box. We don't really show people how we write that model, how we define that function. Okay, but then we were using that model to do the prediction or decision. Of course, sometimes the prediction or decision, they may be the numerical data. But if they are not, that's we call the classification. So here we have few classification example. Your classification, you have different kind of input. Then we have output that we call the prediction. So your input that we call the sample data we try to train. So for example, earlier we show you on your classification input, they can be a text. Just like earlier we show you. So that's a spam email. So like we say earlier, we just show you the first sentence. But like Gmail or your Outlook, they may change the model using the whole content of the email. Okay, so that's why, right, so we will automatically to filter those email that if we think that's spam, we'll put it in the spam folder. So that's why your classification example, you have the input is text. Then our output, you see, just either spam or not spam. If they are spam, then we move to the spam folder. So then the classification or input also can be the image. Okay, so this image actually is very popular one, is the Tesla autopilot system. So this model, actually, they kind of combine classification and regression. Okay, so the classification is when they see the image, they will try to see, for example, you see here is the car, is the image, right? But according to this image, so then the first thing they will do the classification. They will see that's car or not. So that's why you can see here. We all make that the C. Actually, it's just they are further away. You didn't see the image that's clear. But then they just filter this image as a car. And like earlier we say, they have combined with regression. So that's why they do have some number display. So this number display actually just mean if here is your view, right? So that's your view, you driving the Tesla. So then that's the object you have. So then we see that's a car. And the number here, they just tells you how far it is away. So how far they're away is right. So they're using the linear regression. So that's how we can see, kind of predict how far they are. So that's why the image input, then you can have the output. They will output to tell you that's a vehicle or a car or not. Then according to the image, they will tell you that's the road. So then that's a tree, then the sky, or they just the traffic sign. Okay, so that's why here you see your output, they have different category. So then that's the image can be the input for our classification as well. And also our classification input, we can be video. Okay, so this one actually is they're using the video to consider the video to check that's a tennis sport, right? So that's why usually we'll try to see this when the ball move, that will be in or out. Okay, so when we have the video, of course, the video is, we can consider there are a set of the image. So according to the ball move, then at the end, then we can try to decide to predict that's in and out. So then you can see, right, the output still the same thing is a classify output. That's a categorical output. They're either in or out. So that's our classification example. So this example just show you your data, your input can be different things, not only just number. You see, they can be text, they can be video, they can be image. So then their output, they will be the categorical output as well. So then we see, so when we have the classification, earlier we say the regression prediction, we only based on our input is numeric data, our output is numeric data. But the classification prediction, they kind of combine. Yeah, they just combine their input. They maybe sometimes is numerical data as well, but they also combine with the categorical data. So then the output most of the time is categorical data. So we really see the example. So that we see our demo file. Okay, so in our lecture 35 demo file, of course, we're still trying to use those functions we use from the regression, but we do have more. But then you will see here, then yeah, we still have the standard unit conversion. But those functions we will use later in the lecture. Okay, but make sure when you run, you still have all the function. Make sure you will run through each cell. So we see one classification example. We just see one file. So this file actually is applied on the medical world. So we try to classify our patient. Okay, so then here you will see we have one file, we call that the CKD. So this file actually, this data file, we have multiple patient. And you can see we have the patient age, we have the blood pressure, we have sugar, we have so many their exam data. They have the glucose and blood, the blood pressure, and also some the diabetes information. Yeah, you can see they have a lot of information. So then this one actually we're using, we call that CKD because that's try to check the chronic kidney disease.